Hello, my name is Joshua Lee, and in this video, we're going to be exploring the IDE Eclipse Che. The goal of this video is to take and use Eclipse Che to convert ECMASCRIPT 2015 and above into compatible JavaScript that will be compatible with older browsers. So we're starting on the home page. If you have not, you would come down to create a free account using the SaaS and not install local, because this is the application that goes on your web part, well, not your web part, but your desktop. Excuse me. This goes all within the browser. So after selecting the create free account, you're going to come in and create a free account. After clicking this is actually going to take you to the Red Hat software page where you have to create a login, and this is their universal login, just in case you use other software of theirs. You only have to use one login, username and password. So after you do that and you verify your account with your email, it's going to take you into the dashboard. So I didn't have to do any of that because I have already signed up, and it's, like I said, it's a one-time login. It takes you into their dashboard. We're now at a completely different site. Notice the HTTPS che.openshift.io. I would favor this. If I were you, so you can be able to access it quicker. So we're gonna come over here where it says name, and we're gonna type in ECMASCRIPT. Compile it. And within select stack, we're going to say we're going to look for node, and there it is. We're going to select node. The reason that we are going to select Node.js is because this is the package manager that we're going to use to make things happen, which we'll see a little bit later in this video. The RAM is good with 2 gigabytes for the dev machine. Like I said, this is all virtual. We'll come down to projects. We have a few selections of samples, blank, Git, GitHub, and zip. We're actually going to come over here to Git, so it's asking us for a Git URL. So we're going to come in where our repository is that we are using. Make these changes. We're going to come into the repository that we're using, and we're going to clone this link. Ensure that it says clone with HTTPS and not with SSH. I'm going to grab that link, and we're going to come back over and we're going to paste it into, it's not that, paste that, there we go. We're going to paste it into the Git URL, and we're going to select add. We're going to add a description. I already have one here. Converts ES 2015 and vanilla JS for the browser. Because what other reason do you want to not use the latest and the greatest? Once we hit save, we're going to come over here and say create and open. And that's going to begin to load our workspace. So come in just to touch back on this right here. We want to clone with HTTPS because it's a lot quicker. It's going to pull in all these files here versus the SSH, which is more so for your terminal and using Bash to be able to pull in repositories and push changes from your text editor into GitHub. So I'm still loading here. Just give it a second. Grabbing all these. So this is what's happening in the command line as we speak. So now that everything is loaded, you'll notice that the dot over here is now turning green. We're just waiting for a few more things to load up, and that will be within the tree over here that we're waiting on our files to be added in. But just a quick, browse around the IDE. This is why I mentioned on GitHub. This is definitely going to be the successor of Cloud9 once Amazon decides to deprecate the IDE. It has great interface as far as front end goes, as well as the virtual terminals to be able to compile and build things without having to do things on your local machine. Like I said, this makes it accessible from anywhere in the world, really. You use basically preview. You can use these features right here to adjust your default how this dashboard looks. A lot of, like I said, a lot of front end I'm trying to think of the word. I'm gonna just call it sauce. A lot of dressing. So we're still waiting on our project files to load up. We usually did this last time. Come right back in. Let it load, and then there it is. It's configuring them. It's cloning the source code from our GitHub repo. And the branches, it checks out the branch. Now it's importing everything. Come over here. So once everything is done, my files will drop down. There it is. Just on success. All right. So we're gonna start by coming over to the terminal, because this is where the magic happens. So we're gonna, the reason that we chose Node as the package manager, we're gonna run node -v to see what version we're in. We're in version 8.11.4. And being able to run Node as the package manager allows us to be able to grab things like the package JSON. And we use the package JSON to be able to install these dependencies that you see within these package JSONs, to be able to run a lot of the magic that compiles and transforms this ECMASCRIPT 2015 and higher into backwards compatible JavaScript code for the browser. So just to go through some of this package-lock JSON, this is more so for the different packages that's within that's going to be installed, which you'll see in a second. We don't touch this file. That's why it's called package lock. Got a regular index HTML. We have a babel.config.js, a source file, as well as, a source directory, as well as a library directory. So the first thing that we're going to do, I spoke about the package, Node being the package runner. So what we're going to do is we're going to ls to see exactly where we are within the project, and currently we are outside of our master file, which is called ECMASCRIPT compiler. You can see it right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cd into the ECMASCRIPT compiler, and we're going to ls again. Now we have access to all our files that's within this directory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say npm install. And when I run npm install, this is going to take a really freaking long time to install these dependencies. But first thing that you're going to notice is you're going to see node modules pop up, which you just did right here within the tree view. And that's what's happening here. The node modules are being uploaded or downloaded into our tree as dependencies. So we're going to let this load and take the time to discuss some of these other directories that's in here. So I have a script file that has some ECMASCRIPT 2015 in it, and this is where this is the code that we are going to be using to be compiled into the browser. So we have some fat arrow functions, a template literal that's calling this hello world function. We have an alert that's just gonna say hello, and then I'm using this template literal. I'm gonna actually add another line of code as well. New line, and I'm just gonna add another template literal. My new line, and I'm gonna make another fat arrow function. Let's see. Fat arrow function. We're gonna say and we're gonna return a new line. With fat arrow functions, and in case you didn't know, you don't need any brackets whenever you can keep it on the same line. So basically it's just saying this function fat arrow is going to return our template literal new line. And within our library directory, this is where it outputs our JavaScript that's going to be compatible for the browser. So as you can see, I've done this before, and there's the output. So I'm going to delete this and save this to show that this really gets deleted. So you see the star disappeared. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to come back and reopen this again and show you there is nothing in this file. As these node modules continue to be loaded, I'll show you once everything is loaded up. As this still loads, I'm actually going to add a class in this as well. So let's see. So we want to say class. Just going to create a simple user class. To my user class. This is actually one of my favorite ES 2015 features. It's not name, it's going to be equal to name. What is it? State hi. outside of the brackets, and we want to say let user equal new user Josh. User say hi. So it's just the class. Just to break down why everything loads just about some time. I created a class named user, and within the constructor, we're gonna say name. By saying this dot name is equal to name, it's gonna be whatever the name that is passed within the user class. So coming outside of it by saying say hi, alert this dot name, that's gonna run whenever the user is called. So by saying let user equal new user, which is me creating a new class and naming it Josh, when I say hi, by saying user dot say hi, which is invoking the function, it's gonna say Josh. So you can use classes for many different scenarios, but my favorite analogy is the building of a house. If I build a house one way and you say, hey, I want to take out, or I want to add some rooms into this house, you simply call my house and you add your own customizations into my house. So instead of let user, it'll be let house equals new house, and you will call your constructor and name it whatever it is that you want it to be, and you can add your own rooms into that house. Now that we are finally finished compiling, we can take a look inside of the node modules and understand why this took so long. So within these node modules are folders, and within inside of these folders are other folders. So the purpose of this is we grab generally everything that was inside of this this environment, and the plan is to strip away slowly but over time until we have a leaner set of node modules, which will allow us to install our package a lot faster. It also, this IDE is also isn't that fast. You'll notice if you was to do this on your local machine, it probably would have took maybe a minute at most. But moving on. So inside of the script file, like we were mentioning, we have our ECMASCRIPT 2015, and we have finished downloading our package, and now the next step is to compile from here into our library directory, which is currently right here and it's empty. So inside of our GitHub repository, where it says run scripts, we have what we're going to grab from that. We're going to paste this into our terminal. Come in here and paste. And to break this down, what is happening here, we're saying within the node modules directory, grab .bin, which is a hidden folder. We open up node modules to show you. It's a hidden folder inside of node modules, and within the bin folder, we're grabbing a file called Babel. So as you can see, bin is in there because it's hidden. And once we grab the Babel file, we're saying source, which is this folder right here, output this directory into the library. which is how we get script inside of script. So I will demonstrate to you. Let me get rid of this preset, and we'll briefly discuss presets in a second. So I will get rid of that preset, and I will rename this file from script to scripts, and hit OK. So the file is now named scripts. So when I run this, like I said, source outputs this directory into this directory. So if you're thinking, hey, this is going to be a scripts file, you're correct. Run it. It's going to show up any second now. Just moving super slow right now. It might be time for me to have a restart anyway. And now we see says successfully compile one file. So when we come back over here and look at our library, we have a scripts file, right? So if we go back, our script file is empty, but now we have a scripts file. And wow, the scripts file did not compile. It is everything that's ECMASCRIPT 2015. It's a spitting image of our source file, or our source library, the scripts in our source library, except it added ustrict. So that is because this preset right here was not at the end of this library. So by adding this presets equals Babel environment script, this is where the compiling happens. It compiles, and we'll run it right now. So what you're gonna see is what's happening right now. It's taking a ridiculously long time, but within our terminal is building, and it's saying, hey, output from source, from scripts inside of source into scripts in the library. So it's not going to create a third scripts file because there's a scripts file that's already been created. So what it's going to do is it's going to overwrite what's in the scripts file. And as you can see, when it loads, everything is changed. So as you can see at the top, this is my class that I created with the constructor. So let's just break this down. We can run through and show everything and understand why and how this is ridiculously powerful compared to having to go in and input this ourselves. So let me pull this up for you. Lower this down, and come and split this into two columns. Close this, hide that. So when we go side by side, our ECMASCRIPT is to the left and what's being compiled is on the right. So it's starting with the function class that's at the very bottom here. So this is how tough it is to do classes and regular JavaScript to be compatible with the browser. This is all the work that has to be done just to equate to this 7 lines of code right here. Maybe even less if you take away the spacing and everything. We come to our hello world function on one line up here, const hello world. Hey, var hello world equals function hello world. Const hello hey world you know, same deal. Take a look at our template literal. Hello world, I'm using a template literal. No spaces, no check boxes. I mean, not check boxes, no plus signs, nothing. So within that it says, hey, we're gonna concatenate this, and then say var new line. Hello, this is new line. I said, remember when I said one line of code, fat arrow equals function, new line is going to be a return, fat arrow equals function, fat arrow, return new line. You know, these are all things that we don't have to do in order for our JavaScript to, in order for our browser to still output the same functionality, which is the point that, you know, of creating a compiler to be able to take 5 to 8 lines of code and output the amount of work that it's going to take to get that same functionality. My name is Joshua Lee, and I hope that you enjoyed this demo. Apologies it was so long, but I hope that you got something from it.